Hey, I'm Sarah and I'm back with another workflow. This time I'm going to show you a great workflow for analyzing your team's skills and creating a skills gap analysis based on your project requirements. Then we'll use generative AI to create customized development plans for each team member. But first, know that you don't want to put any personal identifying information into AI tools unless they are closed tools. So for purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to anonymize my team members, and you'll want to do the same. All right, step one. So we're going to either get or create a blank talents and skills spreadsheet. So I'm going to use Claude today, and I'm going to have Claude help me create one. I really like using Claude these days because it's so flexible and I can take advantage of the artifact feature that was newly released, where it will open up the output in a new window and you can continually iterate on it. And Claude will generate versions as you iterate that you can access, and you can edit all the versions independently. It also makes the output shareable. So I've decided that I'm done with typing out lengthy prompts. So I've set up my system so that when I hit the function key twice, dictation is enabled. And now I can just talk freely. This way, I'm just constantly chatting away with all my various AI tools, and I can conserve a little energy throughout the day and save a bunch of time. So this might seem like a little detail, but it actually allows me to converse with my tools more frequently and in a more organic way. And I think that once you start doing this, you're probably not going back. So I'm on a Mac, and you can do this through your system settings. You can go down to keyboard and you can enable dictation here. If you're using a Windows machine, you can do Windows Shift H keys to access speech services. Okay, so I want Claude to create for me a talents and skills spreadsheet. So here's my initial prompt. Create a blank project management talents and skills spreadsheet template in a table format. Add columns for names, skills, proficiency, years of experience, education, and certifications. And I will ask you to add the data in a minute. Get rid of my little blunder there, and we'll see what happens. So Claude is getting right to work, and it's making me exactly what I've asked it to do. It doesn't look like much right now. This is my template right here. It is a table, and it does have all of the things that I asked for. And if you think of something that you need to add to your template that would be pertinent, or something that you need for your team, your skills, or your project, you can do that. You can also add that later if you need to. This is very fully adjustable. So that's the end of step one. I have my template ready. Okay, step two. So next, I want to gather as much information as I can about my team, because in a minute, we're going to populate this template that we just made. But we need some data first. And there's lots of ways to get this. You could start the old-fashioned way and begin filling it in with your project-specific observations and your performance review records. And then you could send it out to the team and allow them to cross-check it and complete any gaps. You could have them complete a self-assessment, always a great choice. You could coordinate with your HR team and ask them to help. But this is a course about workflows and tools. So let's run a little baby automation, and we're going to look at each of my team members' LinkedIn profiles, and we're going to scrape the data that we find there and add it to a CSV as a starting point. And then we can ask the team to fill in any gaps and complete it. So we could use something like Zapier or Make.com for this, but let's try a different tool this time. This one is called Phantom Buster, and it contains a lot of powerful automations straight out of the box. So let's go over to Phantom Buster, and I'm going to click on Browse phantoms. And I can already see here a long list of ready-made automations that I can pick from. I want this one. This is the LinkedIn Profile Scraper, and this will scrape all the available data from the LinkedIn profiles of my team members and output it as a CSV. And there's even a little tutorial here if you would like that. So I'm going to click on Use Phantom to use this automation, and we can get started. So here's where we're going to tell Phantom Buster which profile, which URL we're going to scrape. So I'm going to click on a URL. I'm going to head over to LinkedIn, and I'm going to grab my own LinkedIn profile right here. And I'm going to put that right in there, and I'm going to hit save. And now I'll go connect to LinkedIn and save. Now it's asking to select your email discovery service. This is optional. I'm not using it, so I'll just hit save. And then profiles to export per launch. You could batch export these, and you could do your whole team of 20, 30, 40 people, but we're going to do one for right now. And I'm going to do the rest of my team. I'm going to do 4 more members of my team one by one. So 1 is good. We're going to do this one time, and we're going to launch it manually. No need to schedule it. And then it's going to get to work. So this takes a little while. You'll need to wait a minute or two, but while you're waiting, you can queue up the other LinkedIn profiles that you want to scrape. Okay, and she's done. So you can see this is all the data that has been retrieved. And now we can download the results. It's going to give us a little CSV. We can open that up. And we'll just make sure that all of our data is actually here. And yes, it is, and it looks good. So we verified that, and now this is a great place to then send these CSVs off to your team and ask them to fill in the blanks. What's missing here? What's out of date? What needs to be sharpened and enhanced a little bit? Let's get those CSVs looking good, because you want this to be accurate, because everything we do from this point on is going to reference that data. And that's the end of step 2. All right, next up is step 3. We're going to aggregate all the team data into our talents and skills spreadsheet. So let's use Claude once again. Let's go back to Claude. And we're going to normalize all of this data into our centralized talents and skills spreadsheet for analysis. Let's try dragging all of our spreadsheets into Claude. I've done the rest of my 4 team members. We're going to ask it to analyze the information and put it into our spreadsheet. Let's see how it goes. So here are my other scraped LinkedIn profiles. We'll just drag and drop them right in there. And let's give Claude a prompt. You are an expert project manager working on skills, performance, and development tracking for your project team. Combine the following CSVs that contain scraped LinkedIn profile information and aggregate and normalize this data into the talents and skills spreadsheet template you created above to create a centralized database for analysis. And boom, now it's going to give us some interesting options. All right, so it is getting to work, and it is combining our talents and skills spreadsheet with our skills. All right, now it's done a nice job of taking our skills and combining them and putting them into our talents and skills spreadsheet. You can just verify. Doesn't look that nice right now, but it will in a moment when we start to visualize this. So Claude is really nice because it gives you a couple of these options at the end of every time you prompt that will help you kind of push it further and explore new avenues. But I have something that I want to ask it to do. Can you create an interactive data visualization that provides an overview of the team's collective skills, and experience. I'd like to be able to quickly identify areas of strength and opportunities for development. So this would be useful for a variety of reasons. You might be leading several teams, each with 20 or 30 people or more, and this is a great way to get a quick visual of all the skills that you have at your disposal. So what's happening now is Claude is creating some HTML and using a React component to give us a visualization of the data that we just created. So imagine this, you take an hour or two, sometime around project kickoff time, to set up a visualization like this one that captures all of the people who are connected to your project. And now you can instantly identify who has complementary skills for specific project needs. You can balance team composition when assembling project teams. You can spot areas where skills overlap, enabling backup coverage for critical roles. You can visualize single points of failure where critical skills rely on one team member. You can plan for backfill scenarios, spot gaps in team capabilities. You can make data-driven decisions about training investments. You can quickly assess if the team has the right skills for upcoming projects. And you can identify when external resources might be needed. You can also show team growth and development over time. The list goes on. So let's take a look at what we have. So Claude has given us a nice team skills overview dashboard. It lays out the levels of skills that we have here, and it looks at the team composition for us. Okay, so let's go a little bit further. Please create an interactive React component that visualizes the team skills and experience in a way that allows me to easily identify areas of strength and opportunities for development. I'd like to be able to drill down into specific skill categories and see how each team member's proficiency compares. The visualization should be engaging and informative with clear labeling and tooltips to provide context. And let's see what it can do. Okay, cool. So now it's cut the data a different way. Now we're looking at the skills categories, and we can click on these and we can see where we have skills and where we need to maybe add some skills. So we can go through each category and kind of do a quick visual analysis of where we land. All right, great. So Claude's given us the data in a little bit different way. Now it's broken down our skills into categories, and we can get a quick visual on the skills that we have and maybe some skills that we need to add to our team. So that's the end of step 3. We're going to look at step 4 next. We're going to analyze our own project skill requirements. Okay, so let's change gears here a bit and look back at some of our own project documentation. I'm going to pull up my project requirements from my project charter, and I'll allow Claude to do an assessment of the skills needed for this project. So let's go get our project charter. All right, here's our charter. Let me grab my high-level requirements. Here they are. And let's see, here's my prompt. I will provide the project requirements for my upcoming project, review the documents, and generate a comprehensive list of required skills and competencies for the project. And now I'm going to copy and paste all of my requirements right in here. Okay, cool. So Claude's given us a lot of good information. It's analyzed my project requirements, and it's broken up all of the skills required for successful project delivery into all of these different categories. All right, and so now it's time for step 5. We're going to do a gap analysis. And so if you look down here, this is one of the options that Claude provides. So let's just see what it can do. When we click on this little button, it's going to expand this prompt down here. And let's see what our skills gap analysis will look like. Okay, this is beautiful. So let's see what it provided to us. It's showing us the overall skills coverage, where we need to be and where we are, and then it breaks it down into the different kinds of skills, who's got them, where we need more, and all that good stuff. So this step does a lot more than just simply showing whether the team has the right capabilities for each project phase. It identifies which parts of the project might need external support and provides clear visuals for explaining resource needs to leadership. It helps justify budget requests for new hires or training, and it demonstrates due diligence in team capability and assessment. It also helps forecast when contractors might be needed. And those are just some of the areas that this can help with. Next, we're going to create a skill development plan in step 6. All right, so how do we do that? Let's ask our buddy. Once again, can you provide more details on the specific learning resources and training programs you would recommend for the team's skill development plan? I want to make sure we're investing in the right areas. Okay, so let's take a look. Claude has recommended some really great programs for everybody on the team. I can even drill down further and get a customized training plan and a budget. I could ask for detailed implementation strategies and timelines. I could even ask for different kinds of training programs, or only training programs that are less than a certain amount of money. And then you could go even further. You could create an ROI analysis for the learning investments. You could develop metrics for tracking impact on project success. You could build a stakeholder communication plan. You can create a risk mitigation strategy tied to skill development. And this is yet another wonderful opportunity to take a look at these, verify these recommendations, and share them with your team and get their thoughts and expertise. So this is going to help you in risk management and project success by proactively addressing the skills gaps before they become project blockers. And it's going to ensure that the team can handle upcoming technical challenges. It will also help with resource planning and allocation by helping to balance project work with learning time and provides a clear cost estimate for budget planning. And finally, it shows investment in your team members' growth and creates a clear career development path, improving team morale and engagement and helping retain valuable team members through their professional growth. But please do remember to anonymize your data and remove personal identifiers and proprietary data. And please also remember that LLMs can become overwhelmed and can do some very scary things like perpetuate bias and hallucinate and make things up. So you must always provide a little bit of data at a time, and you must always carefully check your work and bring your team in where appropriate. And there you have it. We have completed our workflow. We've analyzed our team's skills. We created a gap analysis based on our project requirements. And then we've created customized development plans for each team member. Thanks a lot. Hope you enjoyed.